The quiet of her dimly lit home, Clara Jennings sat crouched on the edge of her worn-out couch, the guitar resting heavy against her knees. The room was a familiar cocoon of shadows and silence, echoing her solitude and heartache. A single overhead bulb buzzed softly, casting a warm glow over the scattered notes and papers littered around her. Yet amidst the clutter, her attention was drawn to one single object, Whiskey's collar. The faded leather lay limply beside her, still carrying the scent of her beloved horse, a gentle reminder of the laughter and joy that had once filled this space. Tears streamed down Clara's cheeks as she focused on the collar, tracing its contours with her fingers. Memories flooded her mind, uninvited yet unavoidable. She remembered how Whiskey had bounded across the fields, each gallop a testament to their bond, how they shared endless afternoons under the Texas sun, where the world felt invincible. But that world had collapsed one bleak day, when illness had swept away her steadfast companion. The loss left her empty, barren as the fields that now stretched outside her window, each blade of grass whispering the tales of an unforgotten past. She attempted to strum her guitar, hoping the chords would coax the words from her heart, but the strings responded with a discordant sound that mirrored her despair. Clara reflected on that tragic moment, the quiet, still air of the vet's office, the ache in her chest that had felt like it would consume her whole, the realization that she would never again hear Whiskey's soft neigh, the gentle rustle of his coat against her palm, suffocated her. Each memory twisted like a knife, deepening her sorrow. Tears pooled in her eyes, blurring the reality that surrounded her as she fought against the tide of grief threatening to overflow. The air in the room seemed thick with her anguish, each breath a reminder of the immense void Whiskey's absence had carved in her life. With her spirit dulled, the vibrant music she once poured her heart into felt like a distant echo, a shadow of her former self. Clara blinked rapidly, trying to gather her thoughts to find some semblance of comfort in the strum of her guitar, but the pain felt too raw, too fresh. She had been so lost in her darkness that the mere thought of writing felt futile now. Just then, a loud knock on the door startled her from her reverie. The sound pierced through her sorrow, igniting a flicker of confusion deep in her gut. Who could it be at this hour? Her breath hitched, uncertainty gripping her heart as she sat there frozen and afraid to move. What did it mean for someone to arrive now in this fortress of grief she had built around herself? The knock echoed again, insistent and firm. Clara yearned to remain hidden behind her veil of despair, but something deep within compelled her to respond. "Who is it?" she called softly, her voice trembling. "Clara, it's George Strait. Can I come in?" The voice held warmth and familiarity, sending a rush of surprise through her. Could it truly be him, the legendary country musician, standing outside her door? For what felt like an eternity, the weight of her sorrow clashed with a sudden pulse of hope. What could he want with her? Did he sense her brokenness, or was he merely passing through, lost in the rhythm of life? Clara wiped her tears and took a deep breath, her heart pounding. Perhaps this unexpected visitor held something significant in store for her, perhaps a glimmer of understanding, a shared connection rooted in loss and the healing power of music. With a hesitant resolve, she stood, the floorboards creaking beneath her, and slowly opened the door, ready to confront whatever lay beyond, not only in life, but within herself. As Clara opened the door, the cool night air rushed in, mingling with the warmth of the light behind her. There stood George Strait, his iconic cowboy hat slightly tilted, a friendly smile brightening his rugged features. Clara felt a surprising wave of comfort wash over her, as if seeing an old friend after a long time apart. But just as quickly, trepidation crept into her heart. How could she welcome someone so celebrated when her life felt so shattered? "Hi, Clara," George said softly, his voice steady and inviting. "I hope I'm not interrupting." No, come in," she replied, stepping aside. Clara's voice barely rose above a whisper as she motioned for him to enter her world, a world that had dulled in the wake of her loss. As he stepped over the threshold, the unfamiliar chill of her grief lingered in the air, but George seemed unfazed. His very presence filled the room with an unexpected warmth. The cozy space was cluttered with remnants of creativity, sheet music scattered haphazardly, a half-finished quilt draped over the back of the couch, and a framed picture of her family, memories frozen in time. The stark contrast of her chaotic life against the calm embodiment of George's presence left her feeling unsteady. "Thanks for having me, Clara," he said, moving toward the couch. "I just thought I'd check on you after our chat at the festival. I could tell you were going through something pretty heavy." Clara glanced away, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "I appreciate it, but I really don't know what to say. I'm just trying to figure things out." George settled back into the couch, regarding her with gentle eyes. "Figuring things out can feel like an uphill battle sometimes. Believe me, I understand more than you know. Music has always been my way of coping with loss, just like you." His voice turned reflective, full of the wisdom of shared experiences. Feeling the warmth of his honesty, Clara found herself compelled to speak. "It's hard. I lost whiskey a few months ago, and now I feel so lost, like the music has abandoned me." Her words flowed, raw and unfiltered, the dam of her emotions beginning to crack, just enough to let the trickle of truth seep through. "I can't seem to find the joy in it anymore. Every time I pick up my guitar, I remember—" She paused, choking back a sob. "I remember what I lost. I'm really sorry to hear that," George replied softly. He leaned forward, his expression earnest and vulnerable. "I've had my share of losses too. There were times when I wondered if I'd ever sing again after my dad passed. But sometimes it's in that pain that we find our strongest voices." Clara studied him, surprised and grateful for the connection sparking between them. She felt the weight of his words, the shared bond of loss veiling them in a moment of understanding. "How did you do it? How did you find the courage to sing again?" she asked, curiosity lighting in her eyes. "It wasn't easy," he admitted, a wistful smile adorning his face. "There's a certain kind of beauty in allowing yourself to feel all the hurt. When I finally let it out, that's when the songs started coming. They became a part of the healing process." The flicker of hope ignited deeper within Clara. "Maybe that's what I need to do, is to let it all out. But what if it hurts too much?" Her voice wavered, a tinge of fear threading through it. "What if I can't bear to revisit those memories?" George's face softened. "It will hurt, Clara, and that's okay. It's a sign that you care. But remember, those memories aren't just about loss. They're also about love. Love for whiskey, love for your family, love for your music. They can coexist." He leaned back on the couch, his demeanor easy and welcoming. "Let's just talk for a while, no pressure. You don't have to write anything right now. Just let it simmer. Sometimes life reveals its answers when we least expect it." Clara inhaled deeply, feeling a mix of vulnerability and relief. This candid connection with George was unlike anything she had anticipated. "You're right," she sighed. "I think I've been holding so tightly to my grief that I forgot how to embrace the love I still have." As she spoke, memories of happier days began surfacing unbidden. "Whiskey and I used to ride by the creek just outside town, where the wildflowers bloomed in spring." Clara's voice softened, warmth flooding back into her heart as she recalled the sights and sounds of those joyful afternoons. "We'd sing together, me strumming my guitar as he trotted alongside. I can still hear the laughter in the air." A soft smile played on George's lips. "That sounds beautiful. You have a gift, Clara. Don't let it go to waste just because of hurt. Let those memories of joy inspire you, not cloud you." With every word exchanged, Clara felt a flicker of freedom. She dared to envision returning to that creek one day, to let its gentle flow wash over her pain and remind her of the love she carried within. Perhaps George was right. Perhaps her music hadn't abandoned her after all. As if sensing the shift in the room, George leaned forward, his eyes soft yet resolute. "When you're ready, I'd love to co-write a song with you. Explore your journey through your music. It might just be what you need to start finding your voice again." Clara's heart swelled with anticipation, her chest rising as excitement intertwined with cautious hope. "I'd like that," she replied, the corners of her lips turning up. "Maybe I'm starting to believe that I can create again." The two shared a moment of silence, the weight of exchanged realizations filling the air until the echoes of Clara's laughter intertwined with the past, transforming them both as the shadows of grief receded, if only momentarily. There was a path before them, a journey where love awaited just beyond the heartache. The following days carried a mixture of anticipation and anxiety for Clara. Despite the warmth of George's encouragement, lingering doubts tangled in her heart like twisted vines. Would she truly be able to create again, or was this newfound hope merely a fleeting illusion? On the day they were set to meet again, Clara stood before the mirror in her modest home, wrestling with her reflection. She touched her hair nervously, practicing smiles that felt foreign, uncertain how to approach this new chapter. The thought of failing lingered in her mind, threatening to steal the resolve that had begun to bud. Arriving at the local coffee shop, she took a shaky breath before stepping inside, embraced by the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and warm pastries. Clara spotted George at their usual table, guitar propped beside him, his welcoming demeanor cutting through her anxiety as he waved. Self-doubt lingered, but the familiar sight of him stirred a flicker of encouragement within her. "Hey, Clara, you made it," George greeted warmly, his smile infectious. Clara returned a hesitant grin and took a seat, trying to shake off the weight of uncertainty. "I'm glad to be here," she said, fiddling with her guitar strings. "I've thought quite a lot about what we could write." But as she spoke, her voice wavered, revealing the struggle she faced beneath her cool exterior. Next to George sat Dale, an old musician whose laughter always filled the room. "Amazing to see you again, Clara. George has told me about your talents," he said, his kind eyes twinkling. "Let's see what you've got." Clara felt her stomach twist. "Thanks, but I'm still working through some things," she admitted, her voice nearly a whisper. The pressure of his expectations loomed before her, shifting her insecurities into sharp focus. "Don't worry about that," George assured her, leaning in slightly. "We all have rough patches. Just start from wherever you feel comfortable." Taking a deep breath, Clara began to share snippets of ideas she had been nurturing. As she recounted a memory of whiskey galloping through vibrant fields, the corner of her mouth lifted. Each word felt lighter, taking her deeper into the essence of what she could express. "Why don't we turn that into a chorus?" George suggested, his excitement palpable. "It's a perfect pairing with everything you've shared." Eager to contribute, Clara found herself becoming animated. "What if we write about moving forward, about holding memories while still living our lives?" she proposed, her heart racing with newfound energy. As the lyrics began to unfold, fluid and liberating, Clara realized she was capable of more than she'd believed. The doubts that had plagued her began to fade against the backdrop of creativity building around her. They crafted verses that flowed like the creek she'd cherished, weaving in themes of love, loss, and hope. "Let's try it together," Dale encouraged. Clara nodded, gripping her guitar tightly. With George and Dale pushing her forward, a sense of belief washed over her. The words connected, resonating with every note they played, forming an unexpected bond that grounded Clara amidst the turbulence of her emotions. When they finally performed the gathered verses, laughter and applause erupted from nearby tables, illuminating her spirit. Clara met George's eyes, her heart swelling with pride. For the first time in what felt like ages, she was part of something beautiful, a reinvention woven through the notes of her past and present. Afterward, as sunlight filtered through the coffee shop windows, casting warm golden rays across the room, Clara felt liberated. "I can't believe we did it," she said, breathless with excitement. "That felt amazing." George's expression glowed with encouragement. "I knew you had it in you. You've got a powerful voice, Clara. Don't hold back." "Yeah," Dale chimed in, enthusiasm lighting up his smile. "This is just the beginning for you." As they shared ideas and laughter, Clara began to find comfort in the presence of her newfound friends. The need to hide was peeling away, and while shadows of her past were still present, they no longer felt insurmountable. Each word exchanged laid bricks in the foundation of her renewed spirit. Leaving the coffee shop, the cool evening air brushed against her skin, invigorating her with every step. She felt lighter, unencumbered by her sorrow. Clara looked back at the shop, her heart bubbling with hope, knowing she possessed the strength to keep moving forward. Maybe she could blend her pain with her passion, write songs that celebrated love, and carry whiskey's spirit with her. As she walked towards her car, the weight of doubt began to lift, replaced by an embrace of creativity and connection. Clara understood now that even within the darkness, there was light to be found. With every passing day, she was crafting a song not just of loss, but one of resilience and love that transcended sorrow. The horizon ahead glimmered with promise, inviting her to explore a new chapter filled with music and warmth, beckoning her to sing once more. As days turned into weeks, Clara settled into a rhythm of creativity and collaboration. The mornings were infused with sunshine, each dawn heralding the promise of a new song, a fresh release of her spirit. The memories of whiskey now served as a wellspring of inspiration rather than mere reminders of loss. She found herself dreaming of their rides along the creek, each strum of her guitar carrying notes of both longing and joy. Yet within this joyful resurgence, Clara wrestled with a lingering fear, the fear of pushing too hard, of falling back into solitude. While George had become a cherished fixture in her life, she sometimes found herself hesitating to reach out, unsure if her newfound momentum could sustain itself over time. One afternoon, as she strummed gently on her porch, Clara's thoughts drifted to the song they had co-written together. The chorus rang in her head, a melody infused with hope that echoed her evolving spirit. With every step I take, I'm learning to be whole. The love that I once lost will always be my soul. That same day, she received a message from George inviting her to an open mic night at a local bar. The tremor of anxiety danced through her as she hesitated, fear mingling with excitement. Would she be ready to perform in front of others? What if the familiar choke of anxiety gripped her heart once again? Taking a deep breath, Clara decided to respond. "I'll be there," she typed, her fingers trembling slightly. "This is a chance to share your journey, Clara." The sun hung low the evening of the open mic night, casting its golden glow over the small bar filled with a haze of laughter and the jangle of guitars. As she stepped inside, she was met with vibrant chatter, a sense of camaraderie that instantly washed over her. George stood by the stage, his encouraging presence framed by a warm smile that eased her apprehensions. "Ready to shine?" he asked, clapping her gently on the shoulder. "Ready as I'll ever be," Clara replied, her heart racing. She could feel the nervous energy pulsing through her, the thrill of the unknown uncoiling in her stomach. As the night unfolded, Clara watched others perform, each artist unique, their stories weaving a tapestry of human experience. Some sang of heartbreak, while others celebrated love, familiarity mixing with the thrill of anticipation. When the host finally called her name, Clara felt the weight of every gaze upon her, the spotlight bathing her in warmth. "Next up, we have Clara." With every step toward the stage, her pulse pounded in her ears. She glanced at George, who nodded encouragingly, his eyes shining with belief. "You can do this," she reminded herself. As she took her place under the flickering lights, she settled herself, the hum of the bar fading into the background. Clara felt the familiar comfort of her guitar as it rested against her, the cool wood grounding her in the moment. She closed her eyes, recalling the inspiration behind her song, the love she had once cherished, the journey it had taken her through. With shaky fingers, she strummed the opening chords, allowing the music to soothe her anxiety. The first notes filled the room, and as she opened her mouth to sing, the words poured forth like a rushing river. "With every step I take, I'm learning to be whole." Clara lost herself in the melody, her voice steadying as she sang about love, loss, and resilience. Feelings she had buried deep emerged, surging through her as she shared her story with the audience. As her voice echoed in the bar, Clara felt a profound connection emerging, not just with the people listening, but with her own heart. Laughter and tears intertwined as she sang, her journey transformed from a private narrative into a shared experience. In the applause that followed her performance, Clara felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. Gratitude not just for the acceptance of others, but for her own courage to rise up as an artist. The anxiety that had once felt insurmountable melted away, evolving into a sense of fulfillment. After stepping down from the stage, George wrapped her in a warm hug, his pride palpable. "You were incredible. That was so powerful, Clara." "Thank you," she breathed, still riding the high of the performance. Dale approached, a broad grin on his face. "You absolutely brought the house down. I knew you had it in you." With laughter and stories shared among newfound friends, Clara felt the sense of belonging she had yearned for. The burden of isolation began to lift entirely. She realized the love she once grieved transformed into something life-giving. As the night wound down, Clara found herself stepping outside, fresh air wrapping around her as the stars twinkled above. She leaned against the rustic railing, the world feeling alive with possibility. Reflection washed over her, a moment of tranquility suffusing into her heart. Deep inside, she remembered the little girl who had first picked up a guitar, and the dreams that had paved a path to this moment. Her heart was still intertwined with past pain, but the notes of her newfound hope blended seamlessly, creating a harmony that promised a brighter future. With a confidence unfurling within her, Clara knew she had not only embraced her past, but found her way toward a beautiful rebirth. She was no longer merely an echo of who she used to be. She embodied the transformation of pain into something uniquely hers. As she turned to leave, headed toward the bar's warm glow, a quiet strength settled in her heart. Clara was ready to keep crafting her story, ready to carry whiskey's spirit with her through every note and lyric, and ready to embrace the next chapter of her life as both an artist and a woman reborn. The road ahead shimmered with promise, and her melody soared free against the canvas of the night sky. The weeks following that transformative performance at the open mic passed in a blur of creative energy and newfound connections. Clara poured herself into writing sessions with George, each meeting punctuated by laughter and shared stories. The easy camaraderie inspired her, and soon her notebook began to fill with lyrics that radiated warmth, tinged with the colors of her past. Clara's confidence soared as she played her music for friends at small gatherings in the community, her once timid voice now finding echo in the hearts of others. A delicate balance formed, one where her music celebrated both the grief she had endured and the love she had reclaimed. In her own way, she became a beacon for those carrying their own burdens, proof that there was beauty to be found even in the struggle. One evening, as they sat on the porch of Clara's home, the air perfumed with the scent of wildflowers in bloom, her thoughts drifted back to the creek where she and Whiskey had spent countless afternoons together. Strumming lightly on her guitar, Clara shared a new song with George, its lyrics painting vivid imagery of those cherished moments. "It's incredible how you've captured that feeling," George remarked, his fingers tapping against his knee as he listened intently. "You bring those memories to life." Clara smiled, a hint of pride swelling in her chest. "Thank you. It feels good to revisit those memories, but with a different lens, you know, to celebrate them rather than just grieve." George nodded, his gaze thoughtful. "Your evolution as an artist is beautiful to witness. But remember, capturing your journey is about finding a balance. Don't shy away from the pain. It has purpose too." His words lingered with Clara as they shared more songs and stories, weaving together their experiences into a tapestry of emotion and resilience. That night, they decided to plan a local gig, a small concert to showcase their music. Clara's heart fluttered with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, but she felt ready to rise to the occasion. As the date approached, Clara immersed herself in preparations, practicing tirelessly to ensure her performance reflected the journey that had brought her here. But beneath the surface, doubts began to creep in. What if the echoes of old insecurities surfaced during the performance? What if the stage felt too daunting once again? The day of the concert arrived, and Clara fought to quell her anxieties as she stood backstage, her heart pounding in rhythm with the bass of the band warming up. The venue was filled with familiar faces, friends old and new who had come to support her. George's steady presence behind her bolstered her courage. "Take a deep breath, Clara," George said softly, resting a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You're not just singing, you're sharing your story. That's a gift." As she stepped into the spotlight, a hush fell over the crowd. Clara felt the warmth of their collective attention enveloping her. The fear that had once paralyzed her began to melt away, replaced by a sense of purpose. She opened her mouth and let the first note flow, the melody reaching out to every listener like a gentle embrace. The words poured from her heart, emotions swirling and intertwining with each chord she strummed. Clara sang not only of her own journey, but of communal experiences of love, loss, and healing. With every line she pulled the audience in, their eyes reflecting understanding and empathy. As the final notes resonated through the air, Clara was met with a storm of applause. The enthusiastic cheers melded with her heartbeat, igniting a fire within her. She realized in that moment that she had shifted completely, transformed from a woman burdened by grief into one who radiated strength and hope. Backstage after the concert, Clara was enveloped in hugs and praises from friends. Dale approached, his face shining with pride. "You were phenomenal. I've never seen such raw honesty in your performance." "Thank you, Dale," Clara replied, still buzzing with adrenaline and joy. "It felt so liberating." George joined them, his eyes bright with admiration. "You were a force up there, Clara. Your passion shone through, and I think you touched a lot of hearts tonight." As laughter and excitement filled the air, Clara felt a surge of gratitude. She was finally embracing both the light and the shadow within her. During the concert, She had transformed her memories of whiskey into a celebration that encapsulated her journey, and the audience responded with warmth and acceptance. That night, as Clara lay in bed, she replayed the evening's moments in her mind. The applause, the connection she felt with her friends, the pride swelling within her. It was a turning point, a reminder that though the journey held challenges, those challenges were part of her story, vital and unashamed. But with the euphoria of the concert and the newfound acceptance came a bittersweet realization. The memories of whiskey would always bring both joy and sorrow. She could never fully escape the dichotomy of loss and love. They were intertwined, shaping who she was. As Clara commuted through her routine of life in the following days, she began to find power in that understanding. She poured her reflections into new songs, continuing to explore the complexities of human emotion. In the weeks that followed her performance, Clara noticed the subtle whispers of doubt threatening to creep into her mind once again. What if it was a fluke? What if I can't keep this up? Yet, each time she strummed her guitar, the memories of the stage, the applause, and her friends' encouragement danced in her mind, deflating the doubts like balloons losing air. She embraced her music as a grounding force, a reminder that while the past was a canvas painted with pain, it was also a well of inspiration that breathed life into her present. One evening, after a long day of creating, Clara found herself at the very creek that had shaped so many of her tender memories. The sunset cast golden hues across the water, and as she sat on the bank, the familiar sounds of nature wrapped around her. She pulled out her guitar and began strumming softly, singing the new song filled with lines of love, loss, and resilience. As the last notes faded into the twilight, Clara opened her eyes, staring at the beauty surrounding her. It was no longer just a reminder of what she had lost. It was a symbol of what she had gained. Just as the creek flowed eternal, so too did her journey. A series of twists and turns, heartaches and joys, all harmonizing into the beautiful melody of her life. With the stars beginning to twinkle above, Clara felt a profound sense of peace settle within her. She was ready to embrace every aspect of her story, the pain, the healing, the music, and the memories, understanding that the journey had only just begun. As she played under the canopy of night, Clara knew she was crafting not only songs, but a legacy woven through the very fabric of her heart. The river of her life was flowing, and she was ready to ride its currents wherever they may lead. As summer faded into autumn, Clara noticed that like the surrounding trees, she too was shifting, layers of her past shedding, exposing new growth underneath. While creativity surged from her heart, a subtle restlessness flickered in the background. Each day her music pulsed with life, yet doubts brewed beneath her confidence, doubts of whether this newfound voice would withstand the test of time. One evening, a familiar face called her. It was Toby, an old friend from high school, who had been close to her during her relationship with whiskey. His voice evoked a flood of memories. "Clara, I've been meaning to reconnect. Can we meet up?" As she agreed to meet at their old diner, anticipation and anxiety tangled within her. Once inside, Clara spotted Toby in a booth, nostalgia hitting her like a wave. After customary pleasantries, the conversation turned serious. "I've missed you, especially after all that happened with whiskey," he said softly. "I regret how we lost touch." Every word carried weight. "I've missed you too," Clara replied carefully. "It was a tough time. I felt so alone." Toby nodded, his gaze earnest. "I've had my own struggles since. I wanted to talk about the past and about us." Curiosity piqued. Clara asked, "What do you mean?" Toby took a breath. "I always cared about you deeply. Even after we drifted apart, those feelings didn't just disappear. I want to see if we can explore that together, if you're open to it." Clara felt a rush of vulnerability. "I'm still healing from losing whiskey. I don't know if I can open that door again," she said, uncertainty lacing her words. "I understand," he replied, his tone reassuring. "I'm not asking for anything right now, just a chance to reconnect at a pace that feels right." She contemplated his offer, feeling warmth stir within her. The idea of rediscovering their bond felt intriguing yet daunting. "Okay," Clara finally said, her voice steady. "Let's take it slow." They spent the next few weeks meeting regularly, sharing laughs over coffee and memories that blurred the boundaries of their past. Each encounter deepened their connection, rekindling familiarity amidst the undercurrent of unspoken tension. Yet with every interaction, Clara sensed Toby's lingering feelings remained, an emotional weight that both thrilled and frightened her. One crisp evening, Clara met Toby at the same diner that had birthed their friendship. As they shared secrets and laughter, she felt an openness growing between them. But with excitement came hesitation. "What is it you're looking for with me?" Clara finally asked. "Toby is sincere. I want to build something real, something that's been missing for years. I know where you've been and I want to be here for you. For us." Clara searched his eyes, grappling with the past while feeling newly stirred possibilities. "I need time. I've just rediscovered my music and myself. I'm scared of rushing into something I can't handle." He nodded, respectful of her feelings. "We can take our time. Music has been your healing. Let it guide us." That night, Clara returned to her creek, seeking solace under the stars. As she settled with her guitar, she fingered the strings, letting the music flow through her. A surge of inspiration poured forth, capturing the essence of her complexities, the joy of connection intertwined with the fear of vulnerability. Through her lyrics, Clara painted a vivid image of love lost and love found, exploring the depths of her heart's new landscape. With each note, she recognized that the patterns of her past didn't dictate her future. They could coexist, enriching her growth. Weeks turned into months. Toby remained a steady presence alongside her creative process, attending her performances, encouraging her writing. He offered praise, but more significantly, he offered understanding. Yet there was an unacknowledged tension brewing, the deeper tug of their relationship that neither had fully explored. Clara felt herself developing feelings, but the looming fear of being hurt again kept those emotions veiled. One quiet evening at their usual spot, Clara found herself gazing into Toby's eyes as he spoke of his dreams for the future. "Clara, I know we're in a good place, but I want to be clear about my feelings. I care about you, truly." His honesty struck Clara with a mix of warmth and fear. "I've started to care for you too, more than I expected," she admitted, her heart fluttering as she contemplated opening up her heart again. "But," she began, her voice breaking slightly, "I'm still learning to navigate this new life without whiskey. It's hard to let you in fully." "I understand," Toby replied softly, his tone calming. "Take your time. I'm willing to walk alongside you, wherever that leads." As they left the diner that night, Clara felt an electric spark lingering in the air, a persistent reminder that she was journeying into unfamiliar territory, one that required both courage and vulnerability. Finally returning to her cherished creek one last evening, Clara found clarity amidst the chaos of her feelings. No matter the outcome, she understood that embracing these moments was an essential part of her journey. Under the vast sky, with her guitar resting against her knee, Clara penned words that flowed freely, wild and alive, echoing her desires for love while honoring her past. She felt a sense of peace in embracing her truth and letting love reshape her story. As the stars twinkled above, Clara realized she was not just crafting her own narrative, but allowing herself to be part of someone else's. In that moment, she stood on the cusp of an exciting new chapter, ready to let the currents of life guide her toward whatever lay ahead. As the first snow of winter blanketed the town, Clara felt a quiet transformation in her heart. The world around her sparkled with renewed possibilities, mirroring the warmth blossoming in her relationship with Toby. Months had passed since their heartfelt conversations, and with each shared moment they grew closer. Yet the fear of vulnerability still lingered in the shadows. Inspired by the season, Clara poured her emotions into writing. The delicate beauty of the world outside became a backdrop for her songs, each lyric weaving together the lessons of her past and the hope for a brighter future. With every note, she celebrated resilience, acknowledging her grief yet embracing the joy that accompanied new love. One evening, she decided to invite Toby over for dinner, a gesture of safety and celebration. As she prepared the meal, excitement tangled with apprehension. She wanted this night to signify a step toward deeper connection without losing herself in the process. When Toby arrived, a wave of warmth rushed over her. "Wow, this looks amazing," he exclaimed, a smile lighting up his face as he stepped inside. "Just something simple," Clara replied, returning his smile, her heart fluttering at the sight of him. They settled in, savoring the meal while reminiscing about their shared memories. The atmosphere warmed with laughter and stories, but as the dishes cleared, a shift gripped the air. "I've been thinking about us," Clara said, her fingers trembling slightly. Toby leaned in, his gaze earnest. "Me too. I value what we're building together." Taking a breath, Clara shared the weight on her mind. "I'm still processing everything from my past. I worry about letting someone in again after losing whiskey." "I understand completely," Toby replied softly. "Take all the time you need. I'm here for you, however that looks." Their conversation revealed a mutual understanding that deepened their bond. Clara felt the electricity of connection between them, a tangible energy that both excited and terrified her. As they wrapped up the evening, she could sense that they were standing on the threshold of something profound. When spring came, it brought renewal, not just in nature, but in Clara's life as well. She learned of a local music festival featuring up-and-coming artists and felt a surge of excitement ripple through her. This was an opportunity to show the world how far she'd come, to share her journey through her music. On the day of the festival, anticipation coursed through her. Backstage, Clara took a deep breath, reassured by Toby's supportive presence. "You are going to be incredible," he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Thank you. I couldn't do this without you." Clara smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. As she stepped into the spotlight, the crowd roared with applause, and Clara felt every nervous pulse transform into exhilaration. As she played, every note echoed her story, a testament to love lost, healing found, and the beauty of vulnerability. The audience responded, connecting with her lyrics as if they were sharing the experience themselves. When Clara exited the stage, an electric thrill raced through her, and there was Toby waiting with open arms. Their embrace felt like home, warm and encompassing. Clara knew this moment was not just a high from performing, but a symbol of what she was ready to embrace, moving forward. In the following months, Clara and Toby navigated the waters of their relationship, finding comfort in each other's presence. Their trust deepened as they forged a bond built on honesty, patience, and respect. At the creek that had long been her refuge, Clara reflected on her transformation. She began to realize that moving forward didn't diminish her past but enriched her experience. Embracing both joy and sorrow allowed her to grow within and share her journey authentically. Under the starlit sky, with her guitar resting in her lap, Clara strummed softly, writing new songs that celebrated acceptance and love. The melodies echoed her realization, a life beautifully imperfect, filled with adventure, heartache, and promise. At that moment, Clara felt ready to fully embrace her story and invite Toby deeper into it. Together, they had the potential to write a beautiful chapter, one where past lessons illuminated their path, guiding them toward a shared future. Clara smiled, knowing she had risen from uncertainty into a life filled with creative freedom and love. The world lay before her, vibrant and shimmering, and she was eager to explore it hand in hand with the man who had walked beside her through it all.